Why is the Tortured Poets Department a Lifeline album? Welcome back, Swifties and all. So, Taylor Swift characterizes this album as a bit of a lifeline for her. In a recent concert that she had in Melbourne, Australia, she went out to fans and talked to them a little bit about what this album means to her. And she said, "I needed to make it. It sort of reminded me of why songwriting is something that actually gets me through life. And I've never had an album where I've needed songwriting more than I needed it on Tortured Poets." And I think this is a testament to what this album means to her.
It's really powerful to hear Taylor Swift speak so candidly about the role that songwriting played in helping her through a difficult time. The fact that she needed songwriting more than ever before on this album speaks to the emotional weight of the experiences she was going through. And it's interesting to consider how the context of the Eras tour, with its focus on revisiting her past work, might have played into that need for self-reflection and processing. Perhaps revisiting her old songs and re-recording some of them, as she did with Speak Now in 1989, helped her to make sense of her current experiences and channel them into this new album.
Wow, that's so true, Pi. I actually didn't even think of that, right? This is a colossal tour that, one, is very demanding, but also it is kind of giving her that chance to kind of look back at her whole life and then really kind of put a mirror up to herself and see what's going on in her current life. So I can't imagine what that kind of reflective experience must have been for her. She did jam pack 31 songs into this album, which just goes to show that there was so much that was on her mind that she was, like you said, urgently trying to get out. So I've been really, really impressed by just the music.
Exactly, Arturo. It's hard to imagine the emotional toll of a tour like that, where you're constantly revisiting your past work and re-examining it through the lens of your current experiences. But it also seems like it could be incredibly cathartic, allowing you to process your emotions and make sense of them through your art. And you're right, the fact that she was able to create 31 songs for this album speaks to the depth and complexity of what she was going through. It's almost like she needed to get all of those feelings out in order to move forward. And songwriting was the outlet that allowed her to do that. It's really a testament to the power of creativity as a tool for healing and self-discovery.
Exactly. And, Taylor has been very open about her life throughout her music career. But I do feel like this album is the closest that we've gotten to kind of reading her own diary, right? It really does just feel like it's at sometimes kind of like a stream of consciousness in the most kind of poetic and crisp way imaginable. But I do feel like it really is kind of our window into her soul a little bit, and being able to kind of understand her experience through her own words.
That's a beautiful way of putting it, Arturo. There's something about this album that feels incredibly raw and intimate, almost as if we're getting a direct glimpse into Taylor Swift's inner world. And you're right, there's a kind of poetic stream of consciousness quality to the lyrics, where it feels like she's pouring her heart out onto the page without any filter or restraint. That sense of vulnerability can be really powerful, because it invites us to connect with her on a deeper level, and to see ourselves reflected in her experiences. It's also interesting to consider how that vulnerability plays into the title of the album, The Tortured Poets Department. There's something inherently romantic and dramatic about that title, which speaks to the idea of the artist as a tortured soul who channels their pain into their work. And in a way, that's exactly what Taylor Swift seems to be doing here, turning her own struggles into something beautiful and meaningful.
Yeah, and I think on that note, Pi, we will wrap up this episode and leave a little bit more to talk about in the next series of episodes. But until then, everybody, remember to keep your thoughts deep and your minds open, and we will catch you on the next series of episodes to continue to talk about this great album.